Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio.
Greetings to all our audience all around the world. Good evening, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, I can hear you.
Okay. Greetings to all our audience all around the world. Welcome to another engaging episode of the Slow Parenting program on Nostalgia Radio. I am Itinoluwa, your host for today. And for newcomers, this is where we discuss parent-child communication to help parents savor the joy of family life. And today we will be having the season finale of the first season of Slow Parenting. And our research persons will be discussing their contributions from all of the episodes we've had in the 7.5 Temptations parent phase. And at the same time, we'll be taking some questions that we've not really dive into. We'll be taking those questions as well. We have Dr. Richie on the session right now. Other resource persons are not yet here. But I'll just go ahead to introduce them, and once they come in, would welcome them. We have Pastor Mrs. Yetunde Banjo, who will be speaking to us today, and she's passionate about women's issues, parenting, and helping people discover and fulfill purpose. We also have Dr. Sarumi Oyewole, the lead coach of the Coaching Network, and is committed to assisting youth find focus in the new world. Also joining us is Mrs. Boluwatiwi Ayo Opaleke. She will be speaking to us today as well, and she's a writer, author, and a creative intelligence coach who is committed to helping people improve the quality of their lives. And finally, joining us in the program today is Dr. Richie Adewusi. Dr. Richie is the founder of Slow Parenting, incorporated in nostalgiamedia.net, and is also the author of some of the much needed resource materials on parenting, including 7.5 Temptations Parents Face. Dr. Richie, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Rachel. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir. So we'd like our resource persons to, before going into the questions, there are some specific questions we'd like to take, but I would like our resource persons to have in their mind that we'll be taking contributions from all the episodes we've had in season 1, and I would like them to split it into 2 parts, whereby we'll ask some before the break, which we'll be diving into very soon, and we'll have others after the break. Once again, today we'll be having our resource persons give their contributions, treating some questions that we've not touched before, and sharing their key takeaways from all of the episodes we have in season 1, treating 7.5 Temptations Parent Phase. Now, before we take up any question, I would like Dr. Richie to share with us his contributions from all of the episodes. If there's some specific discussions you think you need to share with us, we would like you to take it up from there, sir.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back. I've been off everything, off air,
Welcome,
off
sir.
screen, offline
Welcome, sir.
Welcome
for
back,
like
sir.
3 weeks now. It's good to feel alive again. It's good to be able to be here to be with us and look at all our beautiful faces and get this wonderful opportunity to speak with to us and with us on parenting issues. Unfortunately, I wasn't disposed. I wasn't available for the very last episode of that's the last but not the least. Okay, the phantom question everybody always wants to know: what is the half? What is the half? And and it so happened that I wasn't available. I was not well, to be part of that particular episode. So yeah, so I would dwell a little bit more on that, okay, in terms of my reminiscing over this past 8 or so or 9 weeks that Slow Parenting has been on season 1, 7.5 Temptations Parents phase. To start with, why did we bring why did we coin the title of book as Temptations? Okay. Why do we not say challenges? Why did we not say difficulties? Okay. Because when things are temptations, you can either fall for the temptation or you overcome the temptation. Okay. So,
Yes,
yeah. So these issues are things that parents actually have tools and resources with which they can manage them, meaning which they can resist uh, um, those temptations. Okay, so I'm going to dwell on the half, but not the least. Like I said, for anybody who's been following me on TikTok, I think I actually had 2 streams, 2 3-hour streams about that on that particular issue on TikTok, and it wasn't play acting for me. Those streams it was very difficult. They are very difficult issues. Remember, we are not talking about uh, Alice in Wonderland stories. We are talking about real life situations, real life issues, real people, real circumstances, real events, life and blood, human beings. Okay. So most times it's always challenging to discuss certain personal things publicly. But as a development practitioner, when you privatize your experiences, you are not helping development. Okay, all of your experiences cannot be pleasant. They can't be. So when we begin to choose which experiences we want to share, so long as they are not gory, so long as they are not obscene, okay, that thing that is a difficulty for you might actually be a saving grace somebody else would need in development terms. It might be a difficult family issue that you have personally, but as you share them, okay, someone else is learning, is listening, say, wow, okay, it's on this program that I shared. If you read my book, Biafra Lest We Forget, if you go to read the intro, if you like, the preface, forward rather, my friend who wrote that forward is a Russian lawyer. She said that there is a saying, a proverb in Russia that, wise people learn from other people's mistakes, while fools learn from their own mistakes. Okay? So when you share your experiences, no matter how difficult, look, some of the things we take for granted today that we use, most of them come from other people's difficult experiences. People went through difficulties to invent some of the things that we take for granted. Some of the advice, some of the counsels we just use for free every day, where some people's had to get experiences, had to overcome experiences. So I was not, I didn't feel embarrassed discussing, my issues over the half, but not the least. Because when I was writing that book, it didn't look like I could have any such challenges. It didn't look like it. Okay. I wrote that book about 27, 28 years ago. Okay. And then the same thing I was counseling other parents, other young people about, no, you can't say your father is no longer your father. No, you cannot say your daughter is no longer your daughter. Was now dropped on my laps. And I've now had to deal with that. And I shared in the live stream of the Parenting for All Season live stream that, I suspended the parenting programming. I suspended the programming on parenting for over 15 years over this story. Okay? Because again, you should not be asking people to do what you are struggling with. It's not just hypocritical. It's not helpful. Okay? But by 2 years ago, that whole experience, there was now a closure. I have gone a full circle. If you like, cycle, all of it apply. Okay? I've gone a full cycle in the issue about, remember in the course of this season one, we've said repeatedly that the ideal thing is that parents must be on the same team. That parenting is a team. Okay? When I found out I didn't have a team, I suspended the parenting program.
Wow.
Yes, that's what happened. When I found out, when it became clear to me I had no team, in that sense of parents must be on the same team when it comes to
their
this
children.
of parenting their children, okay, which is true yesterday, is true today, will be true tomorrow. Okay. And I will mount the rostrum, get on television programs, get on radio programs. I'm saying parents must be team members to be able to groom about, or rather bring up their children up properly. Okay. When I came to that full realization, I did not have the team as encouraging parents to have to be able to help their children. As I didn't feel morally, right to be preaching that to parents. So I suspended the parenting program for over 15 years. I wasn't, anybody who knew about the parenting program when we started it in about 1997, 1998, okay, we know that about 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, I stopped. Yeah. Even when I had invites to get to places, talk, all of the books we're talking about here, they were there, they've been there, the card game, everything. I put everything aside because I didn't believe I should be telling people to do what I am struggling with. 2 years ago, there was a closure to all of that. It became now clear, very clear, that indeed I had no team. Yes. And then I now felt compelled to share my experience because I know that I wouldn't be the only parent that probably would be having this experience. There are other people who might be struggling with the same things. They might be embarrassed. They might not be able to, talk about it. They don't know where to go to seek for help. And I'm like, okay, fine. That's why I decided that this project should get up and running again. Okay? So when you are not on the same team with your spouse in terms of training your children, it impacts on the children. It impacts on their behavior. It impacts on their emotions. It impacts on their social relationship, their study, their work. It impacts on every area of their life. Their decision making, everything gets impacted. And the results are not always. Okay? The results are not always pleasant. And I had a full, if you like, dose of those unpleasantness. And then 2 years ago, it was all made clear. And I'm like, okay, fine. I got to the point, that wrote in this book, okay, this book, 7.5 Temptation, the last but not the least, half but not the least. Oh, no, you cannot say parenting is a full-time, lifetime job. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, parenting is a full-time, lifetime job. But the caveat there is that just as the children have their lives to live, you as parents, you also have your life to live. Okay? It's the mutuality of the corporate existence of the family that gets everybody to play their roles in a mutually beneficial way, mutually beneficial to everybody involved in that family. But if it's not, other issues begin to come to play, including issues of mental health. It's not just physical well-being, it's not just financial well-being, and your mental health. When things happen to get to impact or affect your mental health, you could see a human being everything is looking okay. Once there are mental health issues, that person is gone. So we must all do everything necessary to protect, uh, our mental health. Okay? And that's what got me to take those decisions 2 years ago before. And I said, okay, I must share this. Okay? And then we must get on with providing, if you like, support, psychosocial support for other parents that might be struggling with what we have struggled with and gotten over. Okay? Because that's a different thing. Is you're still struggling with something. When I was still struggling with it, I didn't think I should talk to anybody about it. Okay? But then when it became clear that, okay, there's a resolution, there's a closure, okay, I could now say, okay, let's talk about this openly. So I said, you cannot say you disown your children. Yeah. But at the same time, you can let people live their lives and you live your own life. So you don't become a mental health, patient. Okay. And then you get restrained or locked up in some institution, and the people that got you there are out there enjoying themselves. You should not let that happen. Okay. Yeah. So that's my, as I believe you've said at the intro that you have other questions. That's my bit on the half, but not the least. Yes, parenting, I affirm that parenting is a full-time, lifetime job. My mother never stopped parenting me till she passed on. She passed on at 102 years of age. Okay. My father never stopped parenting me till he passed on. He was a much younger person when he passed, but he never stopped till he passed. So I believe that if for any reason any of the two of them were to still be around today, they will still call me and say, what have you done about this? Or what are you doing about this? Okay? It's still parenting. So it's a full-time, lifetime job. They finish their shifts, by the way, my mom and my dad. We said full-time, lifetime, right? Good.
Yes.
So they did it full-time for their lifetime. So they finished their shifts. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for the contribution on the last part of
Half.
the slow parenting for the episode, which is the half but not the least. We are so glad to have your own contribution regarding that discussion. Thank you so much, sir. So there's this question that I would like you to buttress more on it, and which is it's based on communication. Because in recent times, I realized that parents and children they don't most what they lack mostly is that they don't communicate. So, and the question goes thus that what role does we once treated this question, but I feel it, it needs more answers. So, and the question is what role does effective communication play in managing the challenges of parenting? That's the question.
Well, luckily for us, season 2 of Slow Parenting is going to be on this book. Okay, the talk therapy, key to effective parent-child communication. So you are very correct. Communication is key to human existence. It's not just parenting. Communication is central. If you do not communicate, the next person doesn't know what you're thinking or what you're capable of, okay? Or what talents you have, what capacities you have for doing. If you do not communicate, either verbally or non-verbally, okay, the next person, the other person whether your spouse, your children, your students, your teachers, your lecturers, your president, your senators. Communication is what links human beings and human relationships, human existence. Once there is no concise and precise communication relationships, okay, there is chaos. There would be chaos. There would be noise in the channel. That's relationships would have issues. So, in another words, you're actually asking me to introduce the talk therapy by that's another way of looking at it. Now, TALK is an acronym. So for us to now understand that question or my response to it, I will break down the acronym and we'll take it from there. T is for time. Okay? In parenting and any other relationship, you need time. You need to apportion time. You need to spend time to communicate. You need to spend time to observe, to study, to be there, to be available, to engage. Time is of the essence in any relationship. You cannot say you care about somebody and you don't have time for that person. You cannot say you're a professional, you take your job seriously, you know everything, you know how to do everything, and you don't have time to get to do that thing for which you say you are a professional. So time is key in communication. Now, and especially in parent-child communication, you must have time for your children. You must have time for your family, time to play, time to validate issues, time to clarify issues, time to say yes, 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 time to say no, 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 not that way, time to show this is how, okay? And time to really play as a family with your children. You need time. If you don't have time, you cannot observe to know your children. You can't know your children if you don't have time. You don't spend time with them, you can't know them. So from time, we now get the A, top, A, which is assurance. Okay? Assurance. What do we mean by assurance? Validation. Okay? You need to assure your children. It starts with your having time to be with them. Okay? That you have time to go for their functions. You reassure them that you love them. You value them. Okay? If you remember, in one of the episodes, Mrs. Boluwatiwi Ayopalike shared her experience about playing with her children in the sand, letting them put sand on her hair, and because she knows that, well, okay, put it today, Saturday, tomorrow, Sunday, I go to the salon and I wash my hair. But at that moment, they are playing, they're in that park, okay? She's reassuring them. She's building something. She's building that connection. Okay, I'm your mother. I care about you. I'm your father. I care about you. Okay, I have several pictures of when I'm just with my kids, when they were still kids, we'll just sit somewhere, buy ice cream, we're eating it. Not that there's no food, I'll just take them out. We sit in a restaurant, we're eating, go on family holidays together in Nigeria, outside of Nigeria. Okay? You play, no matter how busy you are, those are things that reassure your children. And then as you also reassuring them, know that you care about them, you are getting to know them. It's both ways. That assurance is mutual, okay? Your children are validating you, you are validating your children. Okay? Now, how does that validation now happen? That's where the L comes in. Listening. Okay? You must be able to listen. You must be able to listen mutually. You don't, it's not, come here, listen to me. Yes, come here, listen to me. Very good. But you must listen to them too. You must listen to the feedbacks, for the questions, for the assignments, for the task you've given them to do, for the questions you've asked. You must listen to hear the feedback. If you do not listen, and listening has to be listening attentively, listening with paying attention. Okay? We are on this video call now. Somebody is on the call, but then the video is muted. You are not here. You understand? So you could be with your children. You could be with your children. And you're on your phone. Daddy, hey, this is what happened in school today. Okay. Yes, yes. And you're see what I'm doing. See my phone. I'm having it. Daddy, something my teacher said. Yes, is that what you said? Okay. I'm not, you're not paying attention. You're not listening. No. You say, no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You are not with, you are not. So attentive listening is key to parenting. Is key to communication in parenting. I don't know which parent will feel comfortable that you are having a discussion with a child and the child is busy playing computer game as you're talking to. What will happen? Does anybody know what will happen?
Give the child a knock.
Knock. Well, unfortunately, I cannot answer that question because when we were growing up, there was no computer, no phone. So we cannot describe what my mother would have done to the person. It's only better left to imagination. What you in short, the expression is that you are dead. They're just not buried you. They hadn't buried you yet, but you are dead. Yes. My mother is talking to you. Let's say the time we grew up, there was phone. My mother is talking and you have phone. You are. So it's mutual. Okay? It's mutual. It's both ways. Listening has to be mutual. Okay? And when those three first things are in play appropriately, the last one would happen. K. K is knowledge. K is keen interest. Okay? All of those other issues help you to develop keen interest in yourselves. Not just the parents on the children, but the children too on their parents. When we say effective communication, communication must be a two-way street in every situation. Okay? So when those three things are in play, you now have that environment in that family, in that unit where the parents know their children. So that when someone comes to report, so person will say, well, I know John can behave like that, but Johnny, Kingsley, no, that's not. Chukwemeka, no, Chukwemeka can't, no, it's not him. But madam, we are telling you it is Chukwemeka. I said, I know my son. He's not, no. If you came in here and told me it was Johnny, and the person who came to report will say, okay, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe it was Johnny that actually, no. You came here to say it's Chukwemeka, so let's go there. So a parent can only have that kind of a response when that parent has built that relationship from which or within which he gets to know, I know my children. In the Bible, Christ says, I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. Is that kind of knowledge, that deep, it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. The relationship between a shepherd and the sheep is not one day. If you like, go and wear the shepherd's clothes, carry the stick, go into the field where you have sheep and walk and see whether they will follow you. They will not follow you. They don't know you. Okay? You can't call out to them because you don't know how to call out to them. So in the relationship, when we say effective communication, it must have these 4 key components. Those 4 components can be broken down into subgroups, but those key components are there. And like I said, luckily, nicely, that's season 2 of slow parenting. So aren't we lucky to have that?
A very lucky son.
No, yeah. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Zach, for giving detailed information and discussion on that question on effective communication between parents and their children. We have another question, but before we go right into that, we'd just like to have a break, and after that, we'll take the question.
Okay.
Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia Radio.
Welcome back, and we are back to today's episode. And because of our time, we'll just go right into the next question that I would like Dr. Richard to address. And the question goes thus: share an instance where you witnessed your child or children imitating a behavior or habit of yours, either positive or negative. And how did that influence your approach to parenting? So I'll take that question again.
No, you don't need to. I understand it. It's okay. You don't need to repeat the question. I'm laughing because you can't hide it. We always say to parents that your children want to be you. They don't want to be anybody. It's first and foremost, it's you that they see that they want to be. If I were to ask you and Clinton here, your parents, your mom or your dad, at some point you are more interested in doing what they do. Even the job they are doing, that's what you want to become. Okay? Even how they talk sometimes, even maybe how they dress sometimes. Okay? And positive and negative. I've shared both on this same stream or on this same program, Slow Parenting, but I don't mind repeating them because it's a question that's brought back. Like I said, in one of those episodes, when I used to wear wristwatches, I used to love wearing wristwatches so very much. I used to collect wristwatches, I wear my wristwatches on my right wrist. I used to wear my wristwatches on my right wrist. When I bought my first daughter her first wristwatch, it was for her 13th birthday, actually. She's 42 now. Okay? It was for her 13th birthday. I just noticed that she put it on her right wrist as well. So, I mean, I watch, I observe, I catch. And I asked, Biddy, Why? Why are you wearing your wristwatch on your right wrist? He said, Daddy, you wear your wristwatch on your right wrist. I'm like, I laughed. So no, if I go along that tunnel, if I burrow deeper, I will hear more stories now. Okay, Daddy, if you say I shouldn't, why are you wearing your own on your right? It will get there. So I shut up because, well, so I was only grateful that it wasn't something negative that, I will still use the same bidemi to share the negative, even the negative one too. Because again, it's also documented in a number of these books on parenting. When they were much younger, I think at about the time she was like 14, that's about 14 or so. Late 13, 14. And I shared that I will notice that before I am done, as I'm driving to the compound and parking my car, they're all jumping. I can hear noise upstairs. I can hear people. But as I open the car, get out, open the door downstairs, before I climb up, the whole place would have gone quiet. Yeah, gone quiet. I mean, like everybody disappeared. Yes. And, for some parents, it will mean that, oh, these children are well behaved. Okay. They don't want to disturb daddy. I'm like, nah, that's not it. It's not true. Something is wrong. Oh, sure, something is wrong. So that went on for a while, and I didn't find it fun, really. So I called Bidemi one day. Bidemi, what's happening? I see you play with your uncles, you play with your cousins, you play with the housekeeper, even play with the staff, because my business, my home and business premises, I was worked like that. It wasn't COVID that taught me how to work from home. I've been like working from home like all my life, Yeah. So they'll play with everybody else, but then once I come in, everything is dead. And she was like, "Hey, Daddy, when you're always shouting," I'm like, "Whoa, really?" And I said, "Is that all?" I said, "You're always angry." "I'm always angry." "Okay, sorry. Is there anything else?" It's okay. If I will try to stop shouting, and I'll try not to be angry. At least that. And it helped me to evaluate myself in those areas. Okay? But then your question is, what behavior, what practices did you see, positive or negative, that you saw your children? The same person who accused me of shouting and being angry, some few years down the road, by the time that accusation came, it was just herself and her sister. Their brother was not born yet. Okay? Now, the story I'm going to tell you now, their brother had born, and he was about 2, 3 years, and it was a handful, really. My son was a handful. All right. So, I think about 3 or 4 years from the time this question came, their brother had arrived, and it was about, 2.5, 3 years. And I declared to them, I used to go on retreats, with friends, prayer from time to time. But this time, I thought it was necessary for me to go on a retreat, but then I didn't plan. It wasn't with anybody else. It was just myself. So I decided to have the retreat at home, but they didn't know I was at home. So I decided to have the retreat in my visitors' quarters, when I have visitors, where the section of the house where they will normally stay. So I went to that side of premises to have my retreat. So I will be there praying or just reading, and I will hear something like, "Daddy, finish that food now, or else." I will laugh. Put that toy there. Go and remove that toy there and put it where it's supposed to be right now. Oh, so The retreat was
So,
for about 3 days, I think so. So by the time they returned from school, I officially came back from the retreat and I joined them for dinner. Oh, daddy's back. Oh, daddy, what did you buy from us? Buy. I bought the Holy Spirit. Okay. So when we are done with dinner, I'm like, excuse me, I thought I was the one that
shout.
is the angry and shouting person in this family. Yeah, yes, now that is you. The same day they meet you, say, yes, that is you. I say, okay, it's me, huh? All right. So
Very.
how come somebody was like, that they were finish this food right now, finish this food now, or else? They looked at themselves and then told me, put this toy, check, these toys must not be scattered here. Put them back where they looked at them. They said, Daddy, but you are not here now. I said, oh, I'm not here. The Holy Spirit revealed it to me where I was. But then we talked about it and laughed. She had said, well, I spent the retreat at home. I had everything, you people. But I mean, you were accusing me the other time that I was always getting angry and always shouting. But you are, look at what you're doing with your siblings. Okay? Bidemi has two beautiful, wonderful daughters now. uh, they cannot say no, mommy. you understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was the person who was, that he always angry. Okay, so these things are, like I said, they are human things. Okay, they are behavioral issues. It's not something. They are not stories. There are things that we are engaged in as human beings every day. There are things that, when they are repeated to us, should make us evaluate or reevaluate ourselves in terms of our relationship with those persons. There are things for which we should now apply emotional intelligence in, addressing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your contribution on the question. Due to the time, I would like to round up in about 3 minutes. And before we go, Doctor, I would like you to share your key takeaway from the book we treated in season one, which is 7.5 Temptations Parent Phase. So I would like you to share your key takeaway from this book, from the episodes we have throughout.
Thank you, Ituno. Thank you so much for that challenge, because it's a challenge. It's a very small book, but it just happens to be the most read or the most sought out of my books on parenting. Okay, because the issues raised in 7.5 Temptations Parent Phase are everyday issues, everyday challenges that parents and their children have. Okay, in real terms, they are not, and then laced with personal experiences that can be validated, that can be verified, because the people that are talked about in those experiences are living. I just started something, somebody's wristwatch at age 13. That person is there now, almost 30 years later. We're still talking, can say whether it's true or not true. Okay? And the book itself, it's like a go-to uh, if you like, manual about behavioral issues in parenting. Well, some behavioral issues in parenting. Okay. Even while reading it again myself, like I said, I suspended the parenting program for over 15 years before getting it reactivated in January of this year, 2024. Again, when I read some of them, I'm like, did I write this? Did I really write it? I said, it's inside this book. That means I wrote it. Eh? They challenge me. The issues raised in 7.5 Temptation are issues that will challenge you. I mean, for one reason or the other resource persons were not able to join us here today. But you could see that in the course of the 8 episodes at which these issues were discussed, you could say that we never really there was never 1 hour was never enough.
Yes.
Okay, because people always, there were so many insights, so many. As a matter of fact, there was a suggestion that we should not put any time limit to a chapter, that we should just continue. Like, media programs are not designed like that. Okay, there are time frames to everything. Okay, and because there are blogs where all of those other extended issues can be written about and put out, discussions can continue in those places. There are some other streaming, blogging, podcast programs that we also have on parenting that not limited to 1 hour. So we can't finish, you can't finish discussing, it's not possible, because we can't finish discussing life in a lifetime. Okay? We are still, the Bible is there. But by now, everybody would have finished reading the Bible now, Abby. By now, people would have finished reading the Bible. The Bible should no longer make sense now, Abby, if it was that. Yeah, sure. Okay. So the book itself, it's a manual of sort, okay, on parenting challenges and what you could do about those challenges. That's my take on season 1. It's still this with the same approach that will continue into season 2, season 3, and whatever number of seasons that we continue on slow parenting on Nostalgia Media and other social media platforms. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the key takeaway. And with that, we've reached the end of today's slow parenting episode, which is the season finale for season 1. And as parents or prospective parents, apply what you've learned to navigate the complexities of parenting. And we would like you to follow us on Slow Parenting on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and on nostalgiamedia.net. You can visit our website as well. And you can also share your opinions and questions for many of the episodes with our team to address. And for the next season, which Dr. Richie has shared some information about the book we'll be treating, discussing about, which is the talk therapy. More information will be shared shortly about that, and how the next season is going to be. More information will be shared as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. Join us next again. Join us next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you for being here with us.